everybody. Welcome to Friday night. I want to let you know that tonight's live stream is going to be probably about an hour instead of my usual 2 hours because I want to play on my long arm. That's right. I got Pro Stitcher installed this week, and my work life has kept me pretty busy this week, so I haven't had a chance to play with it. And today, after work, I got a quilt loaded up on it, and I am ready to learn some things and try some stuff, but I am not ready to take you over to the long arm with me. And so I am going to sit here and work on a piecing project, and then I'm going to cut it about 9 o'clock-ish, and then I'm going to hop over there and see how many quilts I can get quilted this week. So you'll want to stay tuned till next week so I can show you what I get done. So what am I going to work on tonight? I am working on clue number 3 for the Wild West Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery Quilt. I am doing the colorway Delilah in a size large, and these clues look like they're going to be pretty easy to put together. I am not going through this as a tutorial. I'm just going to chat with you while I'm sewing, but I will let you know Ian, the Off-Kilter Crafter, will have a tutorial for this same size puzzle mystery quilt. I think that video will be coming out very soon. I think he still has to unpack his clues, but I think he's going to stop by one evening this week to use my sewing room to record that video so that he can get it out for you. So it's coming soon, and if you need that tutorial, I will link it once it's released in the description box down below. So before I get started sewing, let me just say hey to the channel subscribers that are in the chat. We see Deb Hill is here. Deb Thill. Hello, hello, hello. I know I did hit the live button just a few minutes early. Alexandra Lee said, finally took them long enough. I know, I feel you. I feel you, I feel you, I feel you. Love the new podcast episode, Jen says. Thank you. We are having a blast putting those together. We're going to be recording our next episode. As a reminder, those will be going out every 2 weeks. So there will not be a new episode this week, but there will be next week. So if you have a topic or a set of questions you would like us to tackle in one of those upcoming episodes, all you got to do is hop over to my website, sewbecca.com. And if you go to the YouTube menu, underneath that is an option for podcast, and that'll bring up the most recent episode for the podcast, as well as a form you can fill out, and that'll get your suggestions right in front of us. So, all right, let's get started. We're just going to go to the 3 camera setup so you can see all of the things that I'm working on as I'm working on them. So here's my clue instructions, and here's my little color card, and here are my fabrics, which are kind of hard to get in the frame, but you get the picture. You get the picture. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is build out section 3A. So I'm going to take my C fabric, which is this square here. See if I can find it. It's going to be a square, so it's back towards the back. Here we go. It's my C fabric, and I'm going to take 2 of my D triangles, which is this, and I'm going to, is this going to line up the right way? I think it will. Just barely. Let me just make sure. Yep, that's the right one. I have 2 sets of triangles, so I just want to make sure I'm using the right one. The other ones are grossly oversized, so this is the one that I'm going to use. I'm just going to go ahead and line up my raw edges so that I can streamline this and just stitch a whole bunch all at once. Linda is asking, where is Ian tonight? Did his truck arrive? His truck did arrive. He is at home and probably will be jumping into the live chat at some point this evening. All right, I need some snippety doos. Hello, Zaza. She said, am I late tonight? No, you are not. I went early because I want to get my clue finished. I'm working on clue 3 for the Wild West Puzzle Mystery Quilt. I want to get this done so that I can work on the long arm some tonight before I go to bed. I've got a 3-day weekend, and I am super excited because I feel like I have 3 days to do all sorts of finishing quilt tops. I have been storing quilt tops on my quilt rack for what feels like way too long, and I have finally taken the plunge on the Pro Stitcher. We've gotten it installed. We've done some tests with it today, and I am ready to see a quilt finished on this thing tonight. So, all right, so that's the first thing that we're doing, is putting that there. And now we're going to take the bigger triangles and put them on either side of this. So we're kind of squaring that out. There's 2 there, and there should be 2 here. Like, nope, not like that. Like that. All right, we're going to kind of box it off so it's got a little bit of that square in a square shape. Let me just see if I can find a way to fix the camera angle so you can see more of what I'm trying to do. There, that makes it a little bit easier. So I'm doing something like this. So I'm going to do these 2 first. I'm going to take my raw edges and line them up with the square. Hello, Linda Gillespie. Is Pro Stitcher the automated long armor? Yes, it is. So Pro Stitcher is the add-on that you put onto a handy quilter long arm that allows it to do the automation for you. It comes with some gears and a different carriage that the machine sits on, and then it has a new tablet which has specialized software installed on it. And all of those components work together so that you can pull out a quilting design that you can buy or design yourself in Pro Stitcher Designer Studio, and it will draw the quilting onto your quilt. And you can do that in look what I just did wrong. Do you see this? Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Did I do it to both of them? I sure did. Let's just fix that. So those components all work together to do the quilting for you in an automated fashion so that you don't have to draw them. So you can do that one of 2 ways. You can do what they call edge-to-edge quilting, where you just kind of plug in the coordinates for your quilt, how big it is, and then you pick the design, you scale it, you plop it in the way you want it to be, and then I think it was supposed to be on this way. This way. It was supposed to be like that. Okay. And then you'll get it quilted out. And of course, you'll have to advance the quilt as you go, or you can use those little design elements and plop them into specific areas of the quilt so that you can end up with a quilt that looks like it was custom quilted. So if you have some blocks, you can just quilt that one block with a specific motif. And that's something that I want to kind of play with this weekend. So one of the things that I would like to be able to do is pick out a quilt that has very defined blocks to it so that I can play with picking out a block design and having that block quilted in a certain way. That's something I've been looking forward to doing for a very long time. I think I might still be doing this wrong. Hold on. I'm challenged here. Nope, I'm doing it right. Okay. It doesn't feel right, but it is right because there's only 2 sides that can match up with that. Okay. So the trick that I just learned is the plateau on this triangle is going to go line up with the corner of the square that doesn't have the little triangle on it. I'm a little directionally challenged sometimes, especially when I'm excited to work on something else. Ian said, "Oh, fun. Somebody come help me unpack." All right, so that is what we're building out here. I'm going to make another one of those once I rip this seam. I am squaring up a woven star blocks for a woven heart quilt. Awesome. Sharon's on her way to help Ian unpack. Good luck with that. I guarantee you I live closer to him and I'm not going to help him with that. Sorry, Ian. Actually, I would if he asked. All right. There's only one way it can go on. Like that. Okay. Sophie says she's not ready for that. Oh, one of her friends does great long army. Oh, never mind. I thought that was a message for me. You guys are talking about your own projects. Hello, Mary. The crafty panda. All right, so there's that one. And now I'm going to take this piece over here. Bum, 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 bum. Sophie says it was because my friend just got Pro Stitcher too. Awesome. Hello, Sister Marie. Hello, Mary. I'm doing well. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to use a fabric A, which is this light pink. So we need some light pink triangles. Same exact thing. Now, some of this fabric is directional, and normally that would hurt my brain because I would want the fabric to go in the same direction or the right direction, right? But the reality is even though I might be putting these together with the clue organized the way it's laid out here, I don't know how it's going to lay in the finished quilt top. So I'm not going to worry about the direction of any of this fabric. I'm just going to enjoy putting the clues together, and we'll see how it all works out when it's done. Deb is asking how Mary's fingers are doing. I believe she's out of her cast and they are mostly healed. Yep, Linda says, I'm loving the greens and the purples together. That is going to be really pretty when it's put together. I agree. I think it will be too. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Although, like I said, the directional fabric is throwing me for a loop. It's a little outside of my comfort zone, but I really like the palette. Okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go play at the longarm. You ever feel like, okay, hold on, here. I can't do this. I can't do this. Here, take this. I can't do this. Hi.
Hi.
Come say hi to the people. So this is not Ian. You guys know this is not Ian. This is my friend Erin.
I have more hair than Ian.
Oh, a lot more hair than Ian. A lot more. I can't do this. So she's been sitting on the other side of the camera, quietly working on cutting some stuff. Because can we just tell the people like what's happened? Because I just can't. I just can't want to. So sorry that you got to sit on the floor.
I don't care.
By the way, I smell better because I took a shower.
You look beautiful.
Well, you look beautiful. Oh, you're welcome. This is Erin from Love So Modern. If you don't know who she is, I'll put a link to her website in the description box down below. She's a fabulous pattern designer, a fabulous pattern writer, and she'll teach you how to do things with curved piecing that you didn't even think was possible, including that beast that is currently on my long arm that looks like it's curved piecing, and it's
it's
not.
It's all delusion. It looks like curves, but it's all straight lines.
It is. We're going to have to show them. Are we allowed to show them?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I'm done with this, and I want to show them the long arm.
Okay.
Because I just can't want to. So the reason why Erin is here is because she has a handy quilter with Pro Stitcher.
Yes.
She's got the Moxie.
Yeah, I have the handy quilter Moxie with Pro Stitcher Light at my place.
Yep, and they want to know, do you trip on plastic bags like Ian does?
No, I don't trip on plastic bags. I trip on Legos.
I think everybody trips on Legos or you die. So she has a handy quilter with Pro Stitcher on it, and she came over after work today and offered to show me and Ian, who was here, just a few things to kind of get us started. And she was like, we got it started. I figured out some of it, and I was really excited. And so we decided we were going to run it for a test run. I've got a number of quilts on my quilt rack, my quilt ladder that could go, but she was like, I have a quilt that needs Minky on the back. I promised a tester that tested my recent pattern. Thank you. Ian just texted me that he put your website in the chat. Thank you, Ian. So she has one of her pattern testers. She offered to quilt the quilt for her in exchange for doing the pattern, and then surprised you with Minky.
And then she surprised me with Minky. And although I love my Moxie because it got me it was like I could get into the door. I could get a long arm. It's the most affordable long arm. It doesn't like super thick. It's a work effort to get it through quilting with a flannel backing, so I was terrified of doing it with Minky.
I've stitched through Minky on mine. It's just like butter. It's like butter. There's a little bit more of a drag to it, but if the machine's doing the stitching, then you don't get fatigued because the machine's doing it. So we're going to take you to the long arm, I think. I think I'm just going to, you guys are going to be along for the ride. We're going to show you the long arm, and we're perfectly set up for the wireless microphones. I'm just going to pivot the camera over to the long arm. That's where my heart wants to be tonight. That's what I want to start doing, and I figure why not? So Lily said, no joke, I actually tripped on a banana peel once. I'm sorry, but that's funny.
Yeah.
So, do you want to show the people your quilt? Do you need help
let's
out?
do it. Oh.
Am I just now noticing your sleeve?
Oh, isn't it cool? So this is my favorite. I have them. I can show you. Okay,
Oh.
This is a funsie.
Why have I not? Oh, because you always wear the jean jacket at quilt shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are my absolute favorite pair of scissors.
Here, I'll put it in the overhead. You can just hold it right here. And I'll slip. I can see the mouse. There it is. There it is.
Aren't they amazing? So there's birds, and it's just so detailed. Like, so I got it put
On her
my arm.
That's awesome. I have an image of a thimble that I just love, and it's because I love cherry blossoms too. And so it's got like cherry blossom detail on there, and I've kept that. And I'm like, you know what? One day I'm going to put that on my body, and I don't know where it'll be, but if I'm going to get a tattoo, I have one already, but if I get a second one, I want it to be that thimble. So I appreciate.
That's my other one.
I've seen that one. I just don't feel like that one.
It's a commitment.
It is a commitment. It is a commitment. Oh my goodness. Like, it's the size of them. Well, no, it's slightly bigger.
A little bit bigger.
Slightly bigger. And that's making me nervous. Let's just... I've been around Ian a little too much. We don't need that. By the way, Ellen, thank you so much for financially supporting my channel. I appreciate you. We're going to go pivot the camera so you guys can see the long arm. So why don't you, since you're all mic'd up, talk to them about this pattern as I change the camera over so that they can see what you're doing. I just need to move my window this way. Okay. In 3, 2, and then I'll bring my phone with me so I can see the chat. Hold on. On the fly, guys. On the fly. I'm excited about this. Like, I wanted to press start while you were gone. She loaded it and had to run home and was going to come back. And I'm like, I could hit start. No, it's not my quilt. I can't do that. So we did not hit the start. All right. Pivoting in 3, 2, Okay. I think that's good. Yep, there we go. Long arm is in shot. You are good to go.
Awesome.
They can see you. They can see your whole quilt.
Okay. So this is my newest pattern that is releasing on October 23rd. It
Right
is
around the
called
corner.
Celestial Path,
I could see why.
because stars, right? And it's really neat because there's this illusion that there's curves and that these are circular sections, but it's all half rectangle triangles that make that look. So I'm very excited about it. I'm making another one. I don't know. We're going to attempt to get it done before the release date. But we'll see about that.
We'll see.
I
We'll
like,
see.
you know, I like to be optimistic sometimes, even if it's crazy.
So let's see what we've got. I'm pulling up the channel in my chat. So what we've chosen on the screen, you can't really see it. I apologize. We're not going to do any better than this. But what we're going to show, what we have here is a meandered star pattern. So it's like a meander line with a whole bunch of stars, and not like the stars that you draw, but like a 5-pointed star, right? Like,
Yep.
yep.
And it's really fun. Just really emphasizing.
But what we're going to show. Hi.
Hi. Emphasizing the stars. So like when I'm doing a quilt, every decision I make, it's telling a story. There's a story to it. So the quilt top, the quilting choice, my fabric choices, my binding choices, my backing choices. There's a reason for everything. So this one's kind of obvious. Stars.
So what she's doing now is we've picked out one of the patterns and we've repeated it all the way across. We've even drawn out our quilt work table space in the Pro Stitcher so it knows where the quilt is. And now she's picking the second row, and she repeated the top row down, and she's just scooching it up a little bit so that all looks like it's kind of weaving in and out, and it's not just looking like 2 rows. You know, you see what I'm saying? Because it kind of wiggles and nestles and stuff. And so she's adding the repeats. Are you going to program that for the entire quilt top?
That was the goal.
Okay.
But it's not letting me do it. It keeps putting it back.
Well, it says be more we don't care about the keyboard. Got it.
Be more expressive. Hasn't met me.
What if we do clear?
Then I just want to do 6-2.
Oh, 6-2?
Yeah.
So we're going to type 6-2 and hit enter.
And then I went back to 13. That's okay.
Why?
It'll still work.
Clear. Uh-oh. Start it over, Erin. I hit clear.
That's cool.
So she is now using the long arm to draw out the quilt space. Not the quilting area, but like the frame space that she's measuring as far back as she wants it to go and how wide she wants it to be. And you'll hear a ding in a minute. And that's her setting the quilt table. And now she's going to program it to register what the rectangle is for
My quilting space.
the quilting space. So you'll hear a couple more dings. This will be inside that area. These dings are a little bit different. Boom.
This is what I want to change.
I know I saw a video where you could change that. So we're still figuring this out, guys. I don't know.
That's okay, because I can just advance it manually.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
All will be well.
Okay.
I'm
So
not
she's
gonna
going to teach
stress
me
it.
how to advance manually because I've never advanced any of them before. So now that you have all that done, are you
wanna
just testing
change
your
my-
crosshairs?
Yeah, I'm testing my crosshairs. I'm checking out, because technically I can make that bigger.
Okay.
So I
So-
want to.
All right. While you're doing that, I'll explain a little bit of what she's doing here for those that don't have Pro Stitcher. So on the screen in front of her, there's a red line that goes up and down and a red line that goes left to right. And the crosshairs where those two lines are represent exactly where your needle is. So as you move the machine around, you see the crosshairs move. That's why you have all the gears and the different things that are there. And so she is making sure that the start of the quilt on the screen is where she wants the needle to be on the quilt pattern before she gets it started. Did I explain that right? Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Sweet! I sound like I might know what I'm talking about.
You know more than you realize.
Marie says, I have a Moxie without Pro Stitcher and use Minky more often than not and have had no problem.
So my machine, I've named her Trixie.
Trixie Moxie.
So she had timing issues and other issues that I've had techs come and fix, and I haven't tried any thicker materials since then.
So maybe she's
running happy.
Let's not tempt fate.
We're not tempting fate.
We're not tempting fate. Let's not do that. That doesn't sound like a good time to me.
We'll wait until I have more patience.
I get it. Okay. So now that you have all that plugged in, it's literally just hitting the go button.
Yes, it is.
So
all right, so come back. All right, so we are going to go over to the Pro Stitcher tab. Mm-hmm. Everything looks happy. We're within our quilting space. My stitch length is brought back down to an 11, so I hit quilt.
Can I stop you for a second?
Please
Where
do.
did you see the stitch length is 11?
Oh,
was it in the controller?
Yeah, the
Okay.
controller. I brought that back
Okay.
up. All right, and we are dandy good to go. I want to just check where this.
You've got the tie off set. And you've got the pull up turned on, so it should help you pull up your thread and tie off when it starts. Right? Okay, good.
I just don't know that I love that negative space right there. I think I'm going to scooch everything up a smidge.
Okay. So she's taking the rows of stars. There's a little bit of negative space in the upper left-hand corner that doesn't really seem like it's anywhere else, but she wants to get rid of that. So she's sliding her entire design up a little bit to kind of eat up some of that negative space.
There we go. I feel better about that.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Do you need to do any cropping? I know we talked about that earlier.
So
okay.
since I'm within my frame space, I don't have to
okay.
crop it.
Okay. See, I'm learning as we go.
All right, run. Tie-offs on. Proceed.
So it's bringing the machine down to that start point. It took a single stitch to help pull up the bobbin thread. Now she's grabbing both threads and she's going to hit the resume button. It's tying off. We're holding this and there it goes.
Oh, it looks happy.
We'll see. We're going to have to bring it in though, because I know people are going to want to see the stitching. So I'm going to try to bring you in. Apologies, I will go as smoothly as I can so you don't get motion sick. Is the camera still up over there? Can
Yes.
they see? Okay, good. Because I'm going blind. Is that a good shot of it? Can they see?
Yeah, that was good.
I can't read the chat though. My phone's over there with the chat on it if you want to get it. Look at this, 2 cameras in my hand. Okay. Just look at the chat for me. How many people tuned in and was like, she's not going to finish the puzzle mystery quilt. She's going to find something else to do. She said she wants to play in the long arm. That's really cool. So it just does its thing now.
Yep. And it'll do just all the way across. And it's great. I mean, because you have the Amara, it has a beautiful throat space. And so it can do just really big designs.
What I love about this is it looks so clean. Like, I couldn't make my stitching look like that.
No.
And that's part of the reason why I don't do free motion quilting as much as I would like to, because I can't. This looks perfect. And I kind of want it to look perfect.
It just takes all the guesswork out. It takes the stress out. It's the cheapest assistant you can hire for your sewing.
All right, I'm going to put this back on the table. Let's just slowly bring you down over here. Apologies, guys. I'm going to cover the camera so I can move a little bit better. Okay. This way I can see the... Oops. You almost fell off of the table. Sorry about that. There we go. All right. As it gets closer to this side, we'll be able to show you what that quilting looks like up close, but we're just going to let it run for now. I'm going to pull this down. I'm kind of excited to see it go.
I know.
It's like, this has been a long time coming. Let's see, we got some chat comments. So Becca, I'm surprised you lasted so long with a long arm, shouting at you to come out and play. What did she use? What fabrics did she use?
She told me. I'll look it up.
It feels like,
of course.
It's not art gallery, but it feels art gallery-esque. Maybe it is art gallery.
It reminds me of Michael Miller, but
oh, okay,
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I can see that. It's not buttery soft, but it's not like Bella Solids.
Yeah.
The stars are great on this quilt, Sophie said.
Oh, thank you.
And it's got a nice amount of puff too. That's a nice loft.
Yeah. It's I think it was a Hobbs quilt.
It's in your bag over there. How is the audio, by the way? Because I know the machine's a little loud. Can you guys hear us over the audio or over the machine, or is it hard to hear us?
Oh, it is art gallery fabric.
Oh, okay, I stand corrected.
So the colors are Night Sea for that darker blue, and the background color is called Adrift.
Okay, okay.
And then the batting is Hobbs.
How long on average does it take to use the Pro Stitcher and quilt a queen size quilt? We talked about this earlier. Let's step over here away from the long arm so they can hear a little bit better. Oh, they said it sounds good. Sounds perfect. Awesome. Great. I'm glad, because I was afraid they wouldn't be able to hear us at all.
Yeah. I've actually never quilted anything of that size. So again, I have a Moxie, which is on an 8-foot frame.
Oh, so mine is a little bit bigger than yours.
So yours is definitely a little bit
bigger. I have
bigger.
a 10-foot frame.
Yeah. And so I honestly only do quilts that are about twin size and large twin size.
I keep worrying that the thread is going to break. Oh. So I'm like, I'm hyper listening, but I'm also looking at the thread coming off of the spool to be like, is it still moving?
Yes.
I'm waiting for it to be like, bah!
I've learned, my ear has like learned, at least for my machine, I can hear within the first few seconds of something going amiss.
Bill says, I can't believe I was present for her first automated stitches. Well, you all are here. So this is Art Gallery, and she did this in a 2-tone colorway. It looks great. This is also glide thread.
Yes.
What do you quilt with? What do you use?
I use a lot of Omni Superior, which is, I think, same family.
Yeah. Is it cotton or I have some cotton over there if you want to take it from me.
Yep. Omni cotton, I believe, is what I usually use.
I've got King Tut cotton over there, but my
Oh.
machine doesn't love it.
Really?
So I switched to Glide, and that's really all I'm using now. The front edge nearest you doesn't need to be clipped in place here.
So there's a lot of ways that you can do it. Some people do have it rolled and clipped. This is called the floating method.
And this is what I always do.
Is what I love. I've done many a times where it is rolled and clipped, and honestly, I hate it.
I don't want to do that.
I don't like it. And my machine's happier when I do it like this too.
You just have to make sure to smooth it out every time you advance the quilt.
Yep. And the batting does a good job of helping to catch it and hold it.
Yep, it does. Linda says, can I ask you all a question? If someone wanted a setup like this and put it on payments, what kind of payment might that be? Well, I can tell you from my experience, when I bought my Amara with the 10-foot frame, the light bar, because I added that on, I was in a basement and I wanted the extra light. And it also works as filler light for my room when I'm doing videos, so still happy I have that. And then I bought the electric channel magnetic locks, which now I don't need. Can you use those on your, you have Pro Stitcher. Anyway, anywho, all of that to say, I financed mine. I think my payment was like 300 something a month over 5 years or something. I paid above that, so it got paid off sooner. And the Pro Stitcher is just as expensive as the machine and the frame and all the other stuff. The automation is just as expensive. So I'm going to assume that that payment will be very similar.
It's nice being able to do it in chunks too.
Yep.
Like I did my Moxie and my frame, and then a year later I was able to get the Pro Stitcher Lite.
But if you're just looking to get into the Pro Stitcher Lite with the Moxie is about the cost of what just this machine is.
Yes, that's...
So you could get all of that on an 8-foot, I think they even have the 10-foot frame for that now.
They do.
So, so you around 300-ish, but if you're looking to get into Pro Stitcher or some sort of automation and a long arm, or maybe not the automation, but just the long arm so you don't have to baste your quilts, Grace makes a cutie frame, and you could get yourself like a Juki and put it on the carriage, turn it sideways. You won't have a terribly big throat space, but you can do the long arm motion.
Yeah.
Charlotte is asking, so you made a quilt sandwich and only attached the top and edges and the top edge and bungee the sides? So no, we put the back on, and then we floated out our batting and floated out our top and basted the sides and the top. And then as we advance the quilt, we'll continue to baste the sides, and when we get to the bottom, we're going to baste the bottom. So you kind of baste it as you go, rather than like you would if you were sitting down and quilting it.
Yeah, you guys missed the less sexy part at the beginning of actually loading it onto the frame.
Yeah, that was fun.
So the difference between your machine and my machine...
Keep going, I'm listening.
...is that I have my machine set up for short people, and you have your machine set up for tall people.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm so sorry. You know how you never really see how tall you are because you just see the world around you?
Yeah.
So the same thing happened with Ian, right? Like I didn't realize how much taller he was than I was until I saw us in a video clip standing against my shelves. I was like, wow, those shelves, I'm short compared to them, but I'm also short compared to him. Yeah. And I didn't realize that. So like I'm looking at you, I'm like, oh, we're the same height. And apparently we're not. So
it was funny because when I was loading it earlier, when I'm home, I always load it, attaching it first at the top and then to the bottom. But I just couldn't reach your top, so I loaded it from the bottom first. It was trying to reach and connect from the back, so it was a fun time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Short people problems.
It is where I need it to be. It is right at that perfect, like, 90 degree for my elbows.
Exactly, and you need that.
Yep. I'm noticing a couple of spaces where there's a little more lift in the fabric on the quilt than in other areas, but that's gonna, when you wash it, it's gonna get that help with that crinkly fabric.
And you can even like steam it.
Well, yeah, yep. I'm going to angle them down just a hair so they can start to see the quilting over here as it comes in. This has been a long time coming for me. I bought the Handy Quilter in, I want to say February of 21. And I had sticker shock when they were like, oh, this is how much it would be for the whole setup. I was like,
Yeah.
no. So yeah. I said no. And at that time, they didn't have the Moxie or anything like that. So I really weighed on it. And I decided, instead of getting an 18-inch throat space, I was going to get a 20-inch throat space. And I was going to save the Pro Stitcher for later. And in the beginning, it was great. I definitely quilted several quilts by myself. But I've realized that I am not finishing my quilts because I don't have the time or the desire, if I'm being honest, to stand in front of the machine and quilt them. There are other things that I can be doing at the same time. And so I have been supporting small businesses and paying them to finish my quilts. And I was like, that same amount of money that I'm spending for somebody to finish my quilts, I could just put the automation on here and I could do it myself.
Yes.
Which is what I've been wanting to do. I'm really excited about this. I get so geeky over gadgets and technology that I should have done this in the beginning.
But it is a huge financial commitment.
It is. It absolutely is.
Understand the weight.
Deb is asking, do you really need batting if you're using Minky? I always put some batting in with Minky. You don't have to, but I think it depends on where you live. So if you live somewhere that gets really cold, Virginia does get a little chilly, having the batting plus the Minky is good. But if you live, oh good, the ruler base is off. If you live in a place that's a bit warmer, then I would just do the Minky back and you don't need the batting. Angela says, my paternal grandmother was 4'10" and my paternal grandfather was 6'5", and I'm 5'5".
I'm very proud to say I'm the tallest woman in my family on both sides, standing at 5'3".
Really?
My mother-in-law is not even 5 foot, and so my daughter, her very best friend is significantly taller than her. And keep saying, I'm sorry, honey, but you're never going to outgrow your friend.
Somebody's asking, Linda is asking, I'm super short, 4'11". Can these be set up for someone this short?
Yes, they can. They are height adjustable. So you can adjust the height of the bars and of the legs of the frame.
We're going to pull you back up. People said it was angled down too far, so okay. Now you can look at this. I thought you'd want to see the quilting, but I guess not. You can look at the side of the machine then. All right, so now it has finished its first pass.
Okay, awesome.
And Erin is going to help us advance this manually. So what I see on the screen, I'm just going to pick up the camera and very gently move it so they can see the screen. All right.
I'm sorry, there's a sound effect for everything I do.
There's a sound effect for everything I do. So this is what the screen looks like. The orange is where she has already completed stitching, and the black is what will be up next. So she's going to advance the quilt. We're going to move out of her way. We'll just set this here so that we can kind of see what happens. And I'll talk you through what she's doing. I'm just going to stay out of the way. So she's undoing the breaks on the side, which you can't really see, and she's pulling the quilt back so that the take-up bar is taking up the quilted part of what we just did. And she's going to make sure that enough of the quilting goes back so that she has enough unquilted area on the quilt top to allow her to do another pass. And so this is going to be a little bit, I'm going to guess, of trial and error, where you're going to move the crosshairs to make sure you have enough quilting space. And so she's giving it some slack, taking it up in the back, smoothing it out as she goes, and just a little bit at a time. For those of you that are just joining, I am playing with Pro Stitcher on my handy quilter Amara, and the lady in the room that you see on camera right now is my friend Erin from Love So Modern. You can check her out at lovesomodern.com. She is a fabulous pattern designer, writes a lot of beautiful patterns. You can see her at QuiltCon, Quilt Market. You're going to Quilt Market.
No, I'm not going to Quilt Market this year.
Oh, I
went
thought you
last
were.
year.
Last year you did.
But I'm teaching at QuiltCon this year.
I know, I'm so excited. And one of your classes is sold out, yeah?
Both sold out.
Oh, so congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So what are you teaching at QuiltCon?
Oh, I'm so excited. I am teaching demystifying curves, where we will be learning 3 different techniques for traditionally piecing curves, and we're going to be covering different types of curves. So I love curves, so that's one of my favorites. And then I'm also teaching a modern Dresden. So we're going to be learning how to piece an oversized flower Dresden, and then how to raw edge applique the center of the flower and onto our background of our block. It's going to be so much fun.
I think that's something we should do. Maybe we could do that on a VIP Zoom one weekend.
Oh, that would be so much fun.
That would be fun. That would be fun. So folks are asking, what frame do I have? I have the Studio 2. It is a 10-foot frame. Would you like some skizzers? Is that what you're looking for?
I was actually looking for the seam ripper. I want this kind of, it needs to be a little widened.
Oh, so what are you going to do to make it widen? Are you just ripping basting stitches?
That's correct.
All right. See, listen, I'm learning as we go.
She's so smart.
SMRT. You know, I heard that on a Simpsons thing like 10 years ago, and it has become my whole thing. I am so smart. SMRT. And I don't know. In my head, I laugh, and everybody else is probably like, really? You're not funny. Stop it. That's fine. You do you, boo.
It's fun. You got to have fun with life. If you're too serious.
Yeah.
Life
I'm
is
serious
too
through the
stressful.
week, so I get to be silly on the weekends.
Yes.
What is the name of the pattern, and how can we order it, please?
This pattern is called Celestial Path, and it releases on October 24th.
This is her pattern.
Yes, it's my pattern, so it'll be available then. I would recommend, if you are on Instagram, that's where I live most of the time, so you can come follow me at Love So Modern. And if you're not on Instagram, I would recommend joining my newsletter on my website, lovesomodern.com. And you'll get an email on release week so you can grab it.
So somebody put in the chat that it looks like it is the Storm at Sea pattern. Is it similar to that? Or do you know?
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
I was assuming the fabrics, like the fabric mixed with design,
Sure.
like that would be a good title for the pattern.
Yeah.
But I have not heard of Storm at Sea.
You said the batting was Hobbs. Is it cotton or 80-20?
It is 100% cotton.
Okay. She says she loves the loft that we're getting on this quilt.
Yes, I think that the minky on the back is really adding to that. Beautifully.
Lynn's Crafting Lounge says, yay, my room is 14 foot. That would fit wonderfully. Now I just need to help budget in the frame and the machine.
Just, if you send out your quilts a lot, start doing that math. It adds up.
So we've got a few folks in the chat saying that it does look similar to a pattern that they've seen called Storm at Sea. They're not saying that you're duplicating anything, but I do want to highlight something because Erin and I have talked about this multiple times. There's only so many things that you can do with squares and triangles. And rectangles. Eventually you're going to get to the point where you're going to duplicate something that somebody else did, somebody else designed. And it's not because you're going around ripping off people's designs. It's just we're going to complement things because there's only so many things that we can make that way. What I think brings value to your pattern is the instruction and the illustration that you put in there. somebody could take this one pattern. For example, we both have written patterns, right?
Yep.
You could take this one pattern, this one design, and you could write a pattern for it and give a set of instructions. And I could take that same exact pattern and tell you a completely different way to put it together. And for half the people, they're going to love your method. And for half of the people, they're going to love mine. And so when it comes to buying a pattern, of course, you'll want to buy the pattern for the quilt that you like. But the other thing that you will want to look at is making sure that you understand the instructions that are put in there too. I will tell you, Erin does the same thing that I do when it comes to writing and publishing patterns. She does all of the quilt math herself. She designs it, she draws it up, she figures it out, she tests it, she writes it, and then she publishes it. So she's not going out and copying anybody's pattern. I just want to make sure that I'm highlighting that because I think that can be a sensitive topic.
Absolutely. Don't know where that came from.
There was a quilt from the Midnight Quilt Show that had a similar feel to it, and that's what I thought of, not the Storm at Sea pattern. Awesome.
I'm going to have to look that up later.
Yep. Catherine says, I could also see where 5440 or flight pieces, like similar to this as well. Like I said.
So this is the first pattern in years that I've designed that is traditional blocks. My designs are usually very nostalgic and very
very retro.
graphic, very retro. And they're very unique shapes that I've completely created on my own that are not traditional.
You don't even use EQ8 very much. You draw everything in Illustrator, right?
I've never used EQ8. I bought it, I turned it on, I looked at it and said, no thank you. Because I just like complete freedom to make just exactly what I want, what's in my head. And I'm just really comfortable with Adobe products.
Well, there you go. There you go.
So that's what I do.
So now you're sliding it back over to the other side of the frame, and since we're advancing it manually, do we have to set up a new space?
No. So what we're going to do on our screen, in our computer, it thinks that the quilt is still where it was.
Right.
So now we're just going to communicate with the computer that the quilt has moved up. And so we are going to use the drag feature. So what I do is I have the crosshairs on a point on the quilt. Let's see, zoom. Shoop.
Okay.
And it's always good if you can get like an intersection. So I have it on that point.
So she's got it on a point of one of the stars that was stitched.
And it's really great because you have the laser on your needle. So thank you.
How tall are you, they want to know?
I'm 5'3".
Oh, we talked about that. We already said that.
That's
yes,
okay.
I am taller than you.
And then we are going to hit the drag button. Boop. And I am going to move my needle up until I hit the true point.
That was on the screen?
That was on the screen. Where it actually is. And then I'm going to hit drop. Oh, not grid. Drop.
That was easy.
Right?
Oh. We don't like it when it makes that noise.
I don't like it when it gets mad at me. Okay. Testing. Okay. So now we're still within our frame space, so we are good to go. And then,
so now you just hit the resume button?
Yes, I want to make sure I put my stitch length
on 11?
Back to 11.
I did see you do that.
Because that's what I always forget to do.
Dale says, it's a beautiful pattern and I see so many possibilities. I'd love to see that in red and white.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful.
So I've made it in cream and orange.
Sue wants to know, Erin, where does the belly bar hit you? I am 5'2". Let me pivot the camera so they can see. Yeah, there you go. Right there.
Almost at my nipple.
But again, I have mine adjusted for somebody very tall. It's all the way up, so it could definitely be lowered, but it can't go up any higher. Not without additional pieces of equipment.
Motor era? Buffer underflow.
I don't know what that means.
Honestly, I'm going to say it probably has something to do with that weird noise we heard a moment ago with the gears.
Uh-oh. Can you just try again?
Let's see.
Did we save the workspace?
To be honest, I don't think so.
Should we save it now?
I love that idea.
I think Catherine is saying that she didn't mean to imply anything. Oh, yep. She said, I didn't mean to imply anything with the pattern. Nope, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't. I don't think we took it that way. I just feel like it's a topic of conversation. I don't think I was trying to defend anything. I was just trying to have a conversation about like my struggles in the quilting world, wanting to make quilts, right? There's only so many things that you can do with stars and rectangles and triangles. But I think it gets different when you start getting into the world of FPP. Or if you start working out curved piecing, which is what you do a lot of.
Oh, I love it so much too. I'm gonna seam rip this out or whatever, and yeah.
Oh, unbaste it?
No, just the stitching. I'm just gonna undo it.
What stitching?
It did, a third of the star
Where?
here in this here corner.
Oh, okay. So you're going to rip the quilting out and we're going to
Start again.
Got it. I see.
Start anew. Possibly reinitialize things.
Nice. Geek talk. So annoying when the developers don't write understandable error messages.
Right? It feels like you're doing a mystery quote before. It's like a mystery game.
Yeah.
Like, like I was reading something the other day, like, when you're driving your car and it has an error message come on, and they're all like, you're just trying to guess and figure out what that image is supposed to mean. It's like brain work. But then, like, there was one, I wish I could remember because it was so funny. But then there's like this one error that's totally useless that pops up, and it's very clear on what it means with words. It's like 3 words. Oh, man. It was so funny. But that's how I feel with error messages on sewing machines.
Well, guys, it is 9 o'clock and I want to help Erin get this quilt done so that she can make it home. She's got about a 45-minute drive home. So we're going to end the live stream here. I am so grateful that you all were here with me while I got to run at least the first pass of Pro Stitcher on the machine. And I am hoping that this is the start of a whole bunch of quilts being finished this week. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Happy, what is it, the holiday? National Indigenous Peoples Day, Columbus Day. I hope you guys have a wonderful 3-day holiday. Oh, look at this. Picture and a picture and picture and picture. We're just totally raw format today, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Don't forget to come back next week. I am sure Ian will probably be visiting next weekend. And so we'll have a lot of fun here in the sewing room together. So I'll see you guys all later. Bye.